my dear children. A warm welcome to our science class. Dear children, today's session also we are continuing our first lesson, the solar system and the earth. What we discussed in the previous classes, let us go through one more time. We discussed about the movements of the earth. Which are the two movements of the earth? They are the rotation and the revolution. Because of the rotation, we have day and night. Clear? Yes, and today's session we are going to discuss about revolution and season. Revolution and season. Okay, we already discussed what is revolution. It is the movement of the earth around the sun. And for this revolution, one revolution, earth takes 365 days or 1 year. And we have different seasons. Which are our different seasons? They are the spring, winter, summer and autumn. Okay, how these all seasons are happen? That we are going to discuss now. Now you can see one imaginary line on the earth. This imaginary line is known as equator. An equator divides the earth into two equal halves. Equator, it is an imaginary line that divides the earth into two equal halves. And the two equal halves of the earth, they are the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. Which are the two equal parts of the earth? They are the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. Is it clear? Yes. And we already studied that axis of the earth. It is the imaginary line goes through the center of the earth. Actually, that axis is not a straight line. It is tilted. Tilted means slanting or sloping in one direction. A slanting line. Okay. And as the earth revolves around the sun, when the earth reaches this side of the sun, the southern hemisphere gets direct sunlight from the sun and the northern hemisphere gets indirectly from the sun. Clear? The southern hemisphere gets direct sunlight. At the same time, the northern hemisphere gets indirectly from the sun. The sunlight gets indirectly from the sun. So the southern hemisphere has longer days and experiences summer season. At the same time, northern hemisphere has shorter days and experiences winter season. Clear? Yes. Then as the earth again revolves, when it reaches the another side of the sun, the sunlight equally falls on the southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere. Sunlight equally falls on the southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere. And this time, the northern hemisphere has spring season and the southern hemisphere has autumn season. Okay, northern hemisphere has spring season and southern hemisphere has autumn season. Okay, after few months, again the earth reaches the another side of the sun. This time, the sunlight directly falls on the northern hemisphere and indirectly falls on the southern hemisphere. This time, the sunlight directly falls on the northern hemisphere and indirectly falls on the southern hemisphere. So, the northern hemisphere has summer at that time and the southern hemisphere has winter. Clear? Northern hemisphere has summer and southern hemisphere has winter. Okay. Again, earth moves and reaches the another side of the sun. At this time, again the sunlight falls equally on the two hemispheres. That means southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere. At this time, southern hemisphere has spring season and northern hemisphere has autumn season. Okay. So, like this, because of the revolution of the earth, we feel the different seasons. Clear, children? Okay, let me give you a summary. What we discussed today's class? We discussed revolution, movement of the earth around the sun, and also the revolution of the earth causes seasons. Okay, dear students, you should read your textbook 2 or 3 times and study very well. Have a nice day. Thank you.